Welcome to the Snipe and Score show. I am Sean Wallace here with my co-host Aidan Calkins. Aidan, what do we got on tap for today?
Going over how dumb we look when we did our preseason playoff predictors, and we're also going to go over a few series in the East and Western Conferences. We got some matchups confirmed. We'll debate about a couple that might be possible, and we're going to talk about it.
And for those watching on YouTube, you got to excuse the fact that we're completely soaked because it is absolutely pouring outside right now. So for those watching on YouTube, there is a reason why we are absolutely drenched.
I just ran here in the soaking ring. That's why I look like garbage.
Hey,
guys.
that's commitment, guys. That is 100% commitment. Aidan, thank you for being here. Anyway, let's get to what we talked about before the season even started. Our predictions, our postseason predictions. I had one terrible one that I'll get off right off the rip. I think it's important for anyone who is in sports media to hold themselves accountable, and I am going to raise my right hand up right now and say I'm a complete idiot for picking the Rangers to make the postseason this year. Aidan, your thoughts on my, I'm trying to think of a word besides just being an idiot. What's a good word to describe my absolute just ignorance here?
Nimrod.
Nimrod. There we go. You can call me Nimrod. Your worst one.
My worst one? Winnipeg making it.
Yeah, okay. So that's, in my opinion, not too bad. Only because
No,
didn't have
I lied.
Winnipeg.
My worst one, Montreal missing the playoffs. And Boston, but we all both got Boston wrong. We'll get into it a little bit.
I was going to say, I mean, to have Winnipeg making the playoffs, I mean, I think everyone coming into this season had Winnipeg going into the playoffs. Everyone's shocked. I mean, this is the first time we have had the reigning President's Trophy champion and the reigning Stanley Cup champion not make the playoffs since, I believe, 2014 with Chicago and Boston. It's been a while. So, yeah, I'm shocked that Winnipeg didn't make it. I think they were a lock coming into this season, and I'm shocked they didn't make it. As far as Florida, the injuries hurt them, obviously. But I feel like if they had other guys healthy, I think they would have made the postseason. And I think that Atlantic Division, for as tough as it was this year, is going to be even more tough next year. It's going to be insane when Florida's healthy.
Yeah, because my Eastern Conference looked like Tampa is the 1 seed, Washington is the winner out of the Metro, Carolina 2 in the Metro, Jersey 3 in the Metro, and then I had Florida and Toronto as my 3 and the 4. They're 2 and 3 in the Atlantic, and I had Ottawa as the 7 seed, and I had Columbus as the 8 seed. And I actually flipped my picks because I had the Flyers in, and I had Buffalo in. And I elected to go Columbus over Buffalo because I love my team, and we just won the Atlantic Division, so I look like even more like an idiot. I should have just been more of a homer. And yeah, I think that I got a few of them right. I had the Rangers out. I had Pittsburgh finishing last, Boston finishing last. I was right on Detroit, spot on with them again. Yeah, but I'm sorry, Canadiens fans and Bruins fans and Penguins fans, that, especially the latter two. Montreal probably should have had them in, but I didn't. I expected them to kind of not do as well as they did this year. I thought they did a fantastic job. What Marty St. Louis done out there with the Canadiens is fantastic, and that Lightning Canadiens series is going to be a banger. It's going to be fantastic. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. But yeah, I did not foresee Florida and Toronto falling off as hard as I did. Just insane. And then Washington started out well, same with New Jersey, and they both just kind of had collapses right around December and around the Olympic break, and they just kind of fell out of the races. Other teams kind of woke up and found their way into spots.
Yeah, absolutely. The Devils are one team that I thought would be better this season, too.
I agree.
I think I had them in a playoff spot before the season started. I'm a little surprised they didn't make it. I'm surprised they did as bad as they did. We'll talk about the head coaching hot seat in our last segment, but I do believe this was Sheldon Keefe's last season in New Jersey, although he wasn't there for long. I'd be surprised if they kept Keefe around. But as far as New Jersey, that's one team I was surprised didn't make the postseason. I thought they'd be better. I would give a couple teams some apologies. First of all, the Penguins, right?
Yes.
I thought the Penguins would be down there with the Blackhawks this season. I really thought the Penguins would be terrible. I mean, they didn't have the roster at all.
I concurred.
And Anthony Mantha, he had the best career, or the best
Dan
season
Hughes.
of his career. Yep. I mean,
What a job he's done.
Kindle, right? I mean, he was in some Calder conversations throughout the whole year. So, the Penguins absolutely surpassed my expectations. They're second in the Metro. They're going to play the Flyers. We'll talk about that. I believe we mentioned the wild card team heading into the postseason. Philadelphia, or before the season started, we mentioned them as a potential sneaky team that can get in.
Yeah.
We did hit on that one. But yeah, definitely would like to give an apology to the Penguins because I definitely didn't see them doing this well. I don't think anybody did. I'm shocked that if you had told me coming into the season that they'd have 98 points to end the season, I would have said you're crazy. 2 points off of a 100-point season for a team that didn't have the sexiest roster ever. And, a team that is obviously trying to retool right now, right? Coming into the season, all they've been doing is trying to acquire draft capital, and look where they end up. It's unbelievable. Like I've keep saying every episode, every show, what Kyle Dubas has done for that organization has been absolutely unbelievable, and I know the Maple Leafs are absolutely kicking themselves right now. But for them to keep Sidney Crosby happy while building for the future has been absolutely unreal. So I apologize to Penguins fans. I apologize to Sabres fans. Absolutely didn't see them doing this well. When you said, I can see them making the playoffs, this could be the year, I laughed at you because, dude, it's the Sabres. I hate to say, but, they haven't given anyone hope in a decade and a half, so why should I believe they would have made the playoffs this year? It's no different from the Jets, right? If the Jets make the playoffs next season, who the heck would have had them making the playoffs?
That ain't going to happen.
I know it ain't going to happen, but I feel like
Football
it's the same
Jets,
concept with the Sabres coming into the season. So I apologize to Sabres fans. They finally got it done, and I am happy for you guys.
I tried telling people
for you guys.
before the year 2 Lindy Ruff does make a difference. And it didn't look that way until they fired Kevin Adams. And then this team went on a historic pace. To win, they went from last in the Eastern Conference, bottom 5 in the NHL, to win their division.
Yep.
That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Yep.
So what this team did is incredible. I cannot wait for Saturday, because that's when most of them are going to play Saturday, what it looks like how the scheduling's going to work out, to watch them play Boston. And they're going to be my favorites in this series when we get around to talking about the Eastern Conference look. They're my favorites to win that series, and it's not even close to me. And it's not Sabres bias. If you just look at the numbers and you look at how the teams play, Buffalo should win that series in 5 or 6 games, and it shouldn't even be close.
Yep, absolutely. A couple of other teams that we hit on. Well, actually, I'll give an apology to one more team, the Islanders. I thought the Islanders were going to be down there in the bottom of the Metro, and they surpassed my expectations. They didn't make the playoffs. I know they had a rough skid in the last 10 games or so, but they certainly surpassed my expectations for this season, despite firing Bois. He lost the locker room at the end, understandably so. But the majority of the season, the Islanders played way better than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And Matt Schaefer, oh my gosh,
stud.
Absolute superstar,
Stud.
Unbelievable. The numbers he's putting up at 18 years old.
He should get a couple Norris votes. Whether it's third place votes or whatnot, he should get a couple
And
Norris
if he doesn't
votes.
get it this year, I guarantee he'll get 3
one
in the
day,
next 20 years.
One day he's going to get one of Norris.
Yeah.
You can bank on that.
He might get 2 or 3. Kid's unreal. And, I'm looking at the draft lottery last year. The Islanders shouldn't even have had a shot at Matt
They were
Schaefer.
10th?
Yeah, they were 10th. And luck of the draw, they miraculously got Matt Schaefer. What a blessing that was. Yeah, good for them.
Could you imagine the Sharks team right now, instead of Misa, they had Schaefer on that back end?
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
Disgusting.
Yeah, but yeah.
Speaking of the Sharks, I do believe the Sharks and the Ducks were 2 teams that we had as sneaky teams coming into the season. We hit on the Ducks, even though they have a negative 16 goal differential. That Pacific Division is terrible this year. The Sharks almost made it. They were just 6 points short of that second wild card spot in the West.
I didn't have either of them making the playoffs in mind, but I did mention when we did our prediction show, I'm like, hey, listen, if they get hot, they could make it. And Anaheim did, and San Jose looked good for a little bit. But yeah, the West.
Yep.
The West it's dumb.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for the Ducks. I'm happy they made it. I don't think they have a shot against Edmonton, unfortunately.
Well, that's not settled yet. Edmonton could play Colorado.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that. That's right. The regular season ends tomorrow, and I keep thinking it ended yesterday, but it's still going. But yeah, whoever Anaheim plays, I don't know if they have a real shot, but next year they could have a real shot if they build in the offseason. I'm looking forward to that team. Same with San Jose. Those are 2 teams that I really thought coming into the season, we both said may make the playoffs, may not. One team did, one team didn't, but certainly bright futures, and we thought they would take a step forward this season, and we did hit on that. Aidan, what do we got on tap next?
So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Eastern Conference first round here. We're going to talk about that, the matchups, and go through who we think are going to win these games in these series. And we're going to have Wallace lead off with Carolina versus Ottawa, which is the first series going to be happening in the 1v8.
Did you hear that yawn?
Boring hockey.
Yeah, not much hockey. Not very exciting. Not very exciting hockey. I think Carolina's going to win this one, but you talk about just a series with really no stars, no X factors.
No Sebastian Aho lover?
No. Aho's good, but I'm looking at the series and I'm thinking to myself, man, there's so many better series out there, like Buffalo and the Battle of Pennsylvania. I look at the Hurricanes and Senators and I think to myself, well, the Hurricanes should win. I don't know how well they're going to do in the postseason. I don't know if they might make it to the conference finals again, but history's not on their side. The Hurricanes, they always fail to compete in the conference finals. So I expect Carolina to win this, maybe 6. I don't see Ottawa pushing it to 7. Hurricanes could win in 5. I would say at most 6. I'm going to take Carolina in 6, but this is just, the series doesn't interest me. I'm sorry.
If Linus Ullmark shows up, Canes in 7. If Linus Ullmark does not show up, Canes in 5. Ottawa's a top 5 team on paper. They have no goaltending. They play a playoff style of hockey. They play a very boring style of hockey. Carolina does the same thing, except a lot better. Not sorry, Senator fans.
I'm really curious to see how Bussy's going to do in the postseason.
That's the X factor for Carolina.
So the only thing I'd say about him is that he's having a hard time grabbing some pucks. I mean, the rebounds coming off of that guy are insane. He needs to lock in, grab those pucks, and Ottawa can't have a shot at any rebounds. I think that'll be the difference for Carolina. Bussy needs to really lock in and make some saves. He can't afford to have as many rebounds as he's been giving up lately. I would love to see how he does. I'm rooting for him. I think he'll do well. He's done great all regular season. What a steal for Carolina. We talked about it a few months ago, but I would love to see how he does in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, Bussy is great, but your fallback's Frederick Anderson. That's not a fantastic fallback.
Yeah.
Let's be completely honest. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think the series is going to be overly entertaining. I think we're going to see a lot of 2-1, 3-1, couple shutouts maybe. It's going to be a very boring series. It's going to be whatever. We kind of expected that with whoever was going to get that last wild card. Well, maybe not with Washington or Columbus. But
now, if Washington made that, Carolina in 4.
Carolina would have swept them. I love you, but that's the case.
Yeah, let's be real here.
Yeah, I think Carolina's a series. I know Senator fans are yapping a lot because they got a little bit of an ego on them right now, but I promise you're not making it out the first round again.
Yeah, it's just your average Canadian talk.
Yeah.
Same thing with Montreal last year, and look where they ended up. They could be good this year.
Speaking of fun teams, let's talk about the Atlantic Division winners. Buffalo, Boston. 2009, 2010, all over again. Sabres won the North Division that year. They lost to Boston in the playoffs. Not happening this year. Buffalo in 5. I know, you're a Sabres fan, you're biased. I'm not. Buffalo's a younger team. They're one of the fastest teams in the NHL. Boston's one of the slowest teams. The only thing that I could see foreseeing making Boston somehow pull this series out is if Swayman gets super hot and David Pastrnak kicks it up another level. On paper, this Buffalo team's deeper. They're better. They're just a better team, and they're on a really hot streak right now. I understand Boston, they're playing good hockey, but a lot of their wins are coming at home. I'm looking at their splits. They're 29-11-1 at home. They're 16-16-9 at the road. And guess who's got home ice advantage? Buffalo. With a bunch of crazy Buffalonians who've been waiting for playoff hockey for 15 years. That barn is going to be loud and obnoxious, and I'm here for it. Buffalo in 5. The Sabres should have no problems with this series whatsoever.
So I'm a moron because I should have talked about this in our last segment. I apologize to Bruins fans. I wrote them off. They're another team that was retooling in the offseason, and I didn't think anything of them. I thought they're going to be terrible, right down there with the Penguins and the Blackhawks and all of them. For them to be the first wild card team in the East, I'm super impressed. I didn't think they'd get this far. I'm shocked personally. But a couple things need to happen for them if they want to get past the Sabres in round 1. And you already mentioned them. Swayman needs to be a brick wall, absolutely.
He's got a good record against the Sabres too.
Yeah. Pastrnak needs to be red hot, all right? In my opinion, David Pastrnak needs to be the best goal scorer in the league.
Well, and that's the key to Boston beating the Bruins. If you can stop Pastrnak, you pretty much limit most of their offense.
Did you get my David Pastrnak Tom Wilson reference too?
I did. It was a good reference. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't see any issues with that. Boston's had a great year. Marco Sturm has done a great job.
Absolutely.
With that Bruins team. They're laughing to the bank because they still have the Leafs first round pick, which if it falls 6, it's their pick, and my lord, they're going to get another fantastic player to add along, James Higgins, who's been making an impact so far. And yeah, I think that, like I said, Buffalo should have no issues. Plus, Bruins fans are chanting, "We want Buffalo." It does. I promise you, it's going to backfire, Bruins fans.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. I understand why they're saying that because the Sabres haven't been in the playoffs in 15 years. We don't know what team they're going to be in the postseason. They could be a totally different team. They don't have the experience. Well, some guys do, but a lot of the young guys do not.
We went 1-1-2 against them in the regular season.
But we don't know how they're going to perform in the postseason. So I get why Bruins fans are so anxious to play the Sabres. I get it. I'm still going to pick Buffalo. I'll take Buffalo in 6, but I think it's going to be a closer series than you think. I think with Buffalo's lack of playoff experience, we don't know how well they're going to play. Now, they could shut me up and be
I'm going to blow your mind. You know how many guys they have on this team that have playoff experience?
How many?
12.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a good poll. Okay, so
it's just the core guys don't have the experience, but the guys they brought in have the experience.
We will see how they do. I'm still going to hold my opinion, but they could shut me up, and I may regret it. But I'm gonna say Buffalo's still going to win the series, but I do think their lack of playoff experience will probably give Boston. I think Boston will probably get a game or two
be in the series
just because of that. So that's what I think about that series, but I'll still take Buffalo to win the series.
All right, last two here before we got like a couple minutes before we go to break. We'll get them out of here. Maybe we'll go to the next time. We got plenty of time.
We got 5 minutes till we go to break.
Tampa Bay, Montreal. I'm excited for this series. It's going to be a fantastic series. I've got Montreal in 7. I think the Canadiens are a hot team right now, and I think that Tampa's a little bit older. They have the experience, and on paper they're a good team. Vasilevsky's been very shaky recently, and so was the Lightning. They've been very shaky, and Montreal's been hot. I understand they lost a couple games. They got slapped by Columbus, but desperate team, maybe take a night off. It happens. Montreal's a fast team. Their transition game is absurd. I don't think Tampa has the arms. Crazy enough, I'm going to piss off more Lightning fans, and I hope I do so. Tampa Bay does not have the arms to go fist for fist with Montreal. They're not a fast enough team to do it. If you stop Nikita Kucherov, you will stop the Lightning. Plain and simple. They cannot score without Nikita Kucherov. I know they won a game without him. If you stop Nikita Kucherov, you're going to win. If you stop Suzuki, they've got Caulfield. You stop Caulfield and Suzuki, they got Slavkovsky. They got Demidov. They got all these other guys. They got Lane Hudson. But they got a lot of guys that can do it. My big X factor is Jakub Dobeš going to be the guy. He had a really great end of the year. But is it going to withstand the playoffs? That's my only question mark with Montreal. If Dobeš sucks, Tampa in 5 or 6 because Tampa's got the veteranocity, they're just going to run right through them.
Is Noah Dobson going to play?
Probably
show
the
up.
Playoffs.
Will he show up? So you took the words out of my mouth. I'm taking Montreal in 7 as well. The way they're playing right now is unbelievable. But I think here's the big X factor. Their arena is like no other in the postseason.
And it sucks they don't have home ice.
It does, but I still think those not extra, but
those 2 games.
Right, those 2 games are going to make a difference. Yeah, they're absolutely unreal when it comes to postseason. Those Canadians love their hockey. I think that's definitely going to be a difference. Like you said, I think they're the hotter team. They're the younger team, the faster team compared to Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be Montreal in 7. I think it's going to be a closer series.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be great, but I would also say that Montreal's experience might hurt them. They don't have much experience in the playoffs.
They were there last year, though.
They were there last year, but...
And they did give Washington a good fight.
They did. They absolutely
went down,
did.
5, 6?
It was 6.
It was 6, yeah. They gave Washington a run for their money, and nobody thought Montreal was supposed to be there.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm going to take the Canadiens in 7 just because of the momentum they've built up until now and the fact they're just younger, faster. I think they're... I think in terms of talent, they're equal. I do think that, everyone has their pros and cons, but I'm just going to take Montreal because of that arena's going to be bumping, man. It's going to be insane. I think it's definitely going to be an X factor. Next playoff series, the one that I'm going to hate to talk about.
I'm looking forward to this one.
This is going to be some great hockey, but man, this one makes me sick as a Capitals fan. Penguins and Flyers, who do you got?
Battle of Philly. Hot take. Flyers are playing great hockey. I got Philly in 7.
Yeah, they are on a 3-game win streak.
You know why? Because they're playing playoff hockey. Their goal is, we're not going to let you shoot the puck 5-on-5. We're going to score 1 or 2 goals, and then you're not going to get a shot the rest of the game. And that translates to wins in the playoffs. But Pittsburgh's got Sidney Crosby.
Right.
And he loves playing those Flyers in the playoffs. He loves playing Philly in general. So I can see Penguins in 7. I can see Flyers in 7. But with how Philly is playing right now, all the amount of momentum they have, I'm going to go Flyers in 7.
I'm going to take... Sorry, go ahead.
And just credit to Rick Tocchet for turning this team around. Post-Olympic break, they went like 17, 6, and 1. I think was the number I heard last night. Shout out to Steve Dale podcast. Get some of my stuff from there. Absurd. That's insane. And good for them. Rasmus Ristolainen gets to play his first ever playoff game in 13 years. He's part of the Sabres drought. Now he goes to Philly, gets to Philly, so I'm happy for him. Yeah, I mean, Porter Martone has been a monster. 8 games,
yes.
8 points. He's been fantastic. He plays the Philly type of way. Just, man, this is going to be a fantastic series. Sid versus the Flyers in the playoffs, maybe one last time. All we need is Claude Giroux being a Flyer, and we'd be back where we need to be.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh in 7. It'll be a really close series, in my opinion. Both goaltenders are not very good.
Vladar's been really good recently.
Recently, but not overall.
He's been really good
this
back half
stretch. postseason. And I'm going to take Pittsburgh because of that reason. We don't know how well Philadelphia's going to do in the postseason.
And Skinner's got Skinner's got that Stanley Cup experience as well.
Yes, and that's a good point. The thing about Philadelphia, they've been in the playoffs in 6 years. I don't know how well they're going to do. Ristolainen doesn't have any experience. Michkov, Martone, I don't know. Is the stadium pulse going to be as high as people think it is?
Couturier, still there.
We'll see what happens. Yep, he is still there. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh in 7 just because Sid, dude. I mean, he's been there before. He knows what it takes. I just don't know if Philadelphia right now is in that mindset of we know what it takes to win a cup right now. But nonetheless, it's going to be a great experience for them, especially for all the young guys like Michkov. They're going to take this and run away with it, and it'll be a great learning experience for the future. And yeah, like you said, credit to Rick Tocchet for taking him there. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh in 7 just because of the experience.
To quote my stepdad, it's not the Russian rocket, it's Rick Tocchet.
Aidan, what do we got next?
Talk about the Western Conference, and briefly, forgot to mention it in our first segment. I'm going to go over what I had in the West coming out. I had Vegas as the 1 seed, we had in the Pacific, which is the win tonight. They will do so, and I think they will do that. Dallas is the 2, and then Colorado and Winnipeg were my other 2 in the Central. Edmonton and, God forsake me, Calgary as the 2 out of the Pacific, and I had Minnesota and Utah, good on me, as the 7 and 8 seed in the wild card. Calgary, don't know what the heck I was thinking.
You guys decide which one was worse, me picking the Rangers to make the playoffs or Aidan picking the Flames to make the playoffs?
Not even as a wild card team, as a team that was going to finish in the division.
I had the same thing with the Rangers. I really thought Mike Sullivan was going to be the difference maker. Boy, was I wrong.
So, obviously, the Western Conference is not complete with matchups yet, but based on looking at the scheduling and what I think how teams are playing right now, I have a basic idea of how we're going to rank the systems and the matchups. So, this is not a confirmed matchup, but this is what I think is the most likely going to happen. I've got Colorado versus Anaheim in the first round. Sean, do you want to go off of what you think that series would be?
Yeah, so I don't disagree with you. If we're going to judge by if Colorado's going to play Anaheim, Colorado's going to wipe the floor with Anaheim, unfortunately. I saw a good meme on X. It's just like 3 teams, like the Kings and the Sharks and the Mammoth and all of them, saying, no, you go play the Avalanche. No, you go play the Avalanche. No, you go play the Avalanche. So no one wants to play the Avalanche. Whoever plays the Avalanche, whether it be Anaheim or LA, Edmonton, I got to tell you, I think they'd be lucky to win 1 game. I think Anaheim's either going to sweep whoever they play or win in 5.
Nah.
Anaheim? Okay. Absolutely. Yes.
You think Anaheim's going to win in 4 games?
No, did I say Anaheim? I meant Avalanche winning in 4 games. Sorry. Did I actually say that?
Yes, no,
vice versa. I'm sorry. Colorado is going to sweep. They're going to wipe the floor with whoever they play. The only one I would say they'd probably have a tough time against maybe Edmonton.
Yes.
Especially with their goaltending. Tristan Jarry stinks. But the thing is with that series, I can see it maybe going to 6. Probably not 7, but Colorado's going to win that series if they play Edmonton. But anybody else, Colorado is going to sweep whoever they play. I got to say, whoever they end up playing, they'd be lucky to win a game. The team that plays Colorado.
If Colorado plays Anaheim, Abs in 5. If Colorado plays LA, Abs in a sweep. If Colorado plays Edmonton, give me Abs in 7 because McDavid's going to carry the Oilers.
So
it's McDavid.
Yeah, it's McDavid. But McDavid also doesn't have a goaltender between the pipes.
Doesn't
McDavid
matter.
also really doesn't really have a
They're playing a lot better team defense. They are really playing a lot better team defense recently.
Yeah, I just don't know how that's going to stop a team that has a plus 97 goal differential. I mean, that's
They're beatable.
Unreal.
They're beatable.
Sure, but not for 7 games. It's just I don't think it's possible. Like I said, if they play Edmonton, I can see Edmonton bring it to 6. Cannot see Edmonton bring it to 7. I think they'd actually be lucky to bring it to 7.
I'm thinking Abs versus Anaheim, definitely most likely, so I've got Abs in 5.
Let's get to the most exciting playoff
The actual confirmed matchup.
Yeah, the actual confirmed matchup.
It's been confirmed for 3 months now.
Because right now we're just if men. We're just saying hypotheticals right now. But this one's actually confirmed. This is the only confirmed matchup in the Western Conference. The Dallas Stars have home advantage in a matchup with the Minnesota Wild. Aidan, who do you got?
Dallas in 7.
Ooh.
And I say this because the Dallas is loaded, and when Minnesota's center depth scares me to go toe to toe with Dallas. Like they got, if you look at it on paper, Dallas, their D-core's probably even. I would give it to Minnesota on the sole fact that they've got Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber, and they got a top 4 that's been around for a long time. They're very good. Forward group, I would give to Dallas any day of the week. Goaltenders, depending on who they play. I mean, either Minnesota goalie Gustafsson or Volstead is going to be great. Ottinger's going to be good. We'll see if the playoff woes come back and bite him like they did last year. We'll see. He doesn't have DeBoer to throw him under the bus again. But I just think that the forward group for Dallas is going to give Minnesota fits. And no matter how well Gustafsson plays, it's going to be a blow-for-blow series. This game is going to go 7. It's going to be great. But Dallas has been there, done that. The expectations is that they probably should win this series, and I got Dallas winning in 7.
I think the nice thing about where the Wild are right now in this playoff matchup is they have flexibility at goaltender. It's unreal.
They really do.
They have two of the best goalies in maybe not in the league, but two goalies who are
tandem.
playing. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. They have the best tandem in the league. So the flexibility there is going to really, really, really help them, especially with a team like Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
To have guys taking breaks, Gustafsson taking a rest, Wallstedt taking a rest. For them to be rested in a series with Dallas, and then maybe you go play like a Colorado or something. That's really good for them. So they're automatically at an advantage there. I'm jealous of that. And if I'm being honest, they shouldn't trade one of them in the offseason. No matter the offer. I don't
It'd
care
be
if someone offers a
Wallstedt.
first.
That'd be the one we going out.
Even if they're offered a first round pick or more, I don't know if I'd take it because right now they're in such a good position to, I think it would be dumb to sell when you'd think you have a team right now that's close to winning a championship, no matter what the offer is. I think when you have flexibility at the goaltender position like they have now, I think it would almost be, I don't want to say moronic, but I certainly would be against if they traded one of those guys in the offseason, but that's really going to help them in the postseason. So I love to see that for Minnesota. Sorry, but that being said, I'm going to take actually Dallas. Dallas, that environment in Dallas is unbelievable come postseason. I love watching Dallas Stars hockey in the postseason. That arena is electric. It's unreal. Why don't you like watching?
Baby.
Okay, sure. All right, we're still holding on to that. But anyways, I'm going to take Dallas. Only because, and I know I keep saying this, but I think the experience counts. I think, not that it's going to come to bite Minnesota, but, this is the first time we've seen them this good, and there are a lot of players that just don't have that playoff experience on this roster. Whereas Dallas, they've been here. They know what to do.
That's a take.
I mean, there are a lot of guys. But you look at Dallas, and they went to the conference finals last year. They've been in this position before. They know what to do. I'll take Dallas in 7. But I think it's going to be a really close series, but I'm just going to give Dallas the edge just because of the experience. But Minnesota has some guys that I know they were there last year. They played Vegas, and boy, was that a series. Oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. I think it'll be really close, but I'll give the edge to Dallas just because of the experience. And look, there are some guys that have been there before. I get it, but at the same time, I just think Dallas knows what to do in this position, and I think that's the difference, in my opinion. So. Yeah, clown me all you want, but I think that's why I'm going to pick Dallas in 7. All right, time for some more hypotheticals because the last 2 playoff matchups we're going to discuss have not been locked in yet. Aidan, what do you got?
I'm going to get the one out of the way that's super easy. Edmonton, LA, or Edmonton in 6. LA's going to win the first 2 games. Edmonton's going to win the final 4, just like they have the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Or so it seems. I don't need to talk about it. Just go watch the last 5 years of Kings vs. Oilers. You'll get the gist of what we're going to talk about. Plain and simple, Kings or Edmonton and 7.
I've said it before. Kings need to blow it up, man. 5 years in a row of this crap.
This close to being the genius of all geniuses, saying they were going to miss the playoffs, and then they had to go on a run.
And I was pulling for you because, dude, I don't want to see this team in the postseason again, man.
They're old, they're slow, and they suck.
They got to blow it up. I've said it for the last few weeks. I said it at the trade deadline. This team's not competing for a cup. It's time to blow it up. Aidan. Now, I do want to apologize to the audience. The thunder outside is absolutely unbelievable. So if you can hear that, apologies.
They usually are in Oklahoma City.
You know what? Hey, good pull there, Aidan. We were going to talk about this last segment, but the last playoff matchup we forgot to talk about was one of our hypotheticals.
So we're projecting.
Vegas and Utah. As we said earlier, the regular season ends tomorrow night, so there's no way of telling who's going to play who, but this one seems as if it's going to be most likely. So, Aidan, if Vegas were to go up against Utah, who do you have?
Vegas in 6.
Vegas
Utah's
in 6.
Good. I think they'll win a couple games, but Tortorella's got Vegas rolling, which is what I did not think was going to happen. But he's got Vegas rolling. They have not lost a game in regulation since he was hired, and Vegas is really good right now. And they're definitely a contender out of the West if they continue to play this well.
Which is so funny because last month we were saying the exact opposite. So I can tell you, if Bruce Cassidy were coaching this team, I'd probably say Vegas in 7, but Utah would make it very, very, very close. John Tortorella's got this team moving. It's unbelievable what he's doing right now. I would take Vegas in 6 as well. I think Utah's a very good team, and this will be a great learning experience for them to take away and build on for the future. It's going to be great. I think it'll be a good series. That's what we have for the West. So now we're going to move on to our NHL head coaching hot seat. Now, there are a lot of names to talk about. We already mentioned Sheldon Keefe at the beginning. I'm going to stand pat on that. I don't see him coming back to New Jersey. Aidan, your thoughts on Sheldon Keefe?
Should be fired. He's been there for 2 years, and I think new regime change coming in. They're going to want to have their own guy probably, and Yeah, I mean, this Devils team, in part to Tom Fitzgerald, who got fired last week, was not very good, but Keefe also. I mean, just this team had so much talent. They should have been a lot better, and they just fell off a cliff in the second half.
Yeah, I disagree.
The guys might need to change the scenery. And I understand, like, oh, you just got rid of Ruff a couple of years ago, and now you're bringing in another guy. It's like, well, Keefe's kind of track record of having a couple good years, and then the wheels fall off. Ask Leaf fans.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. One guy I want to kind of talk about, now we talked about this last week. It was our breaking news segment right as we got off the air. Ron Francis stepped down as Seattle's general manager. So the thing about Seattle is now that they have, kind of a new front office coming in, what do you think about Lane Lambert, and what do you think about Lane Lambert?
I think he's safe. I didn't like the hire, but I think he's safe. They had a decent year, all things considered. They got a lot of holes still. They were in the race to the thick of it like the last couple of weeks. But yeah, Bob Rose screwed the pooch on this team. I can't really fault Lane Lambert that he doesn't have any scorers around him to help score. I think Lambert gets another year minimum. So yeah, I don't think there's gonna be changes in Seattle.
Yeah, another guy that I think he's been coaching to keep his job all season long, and they couldn't do it. I know they had a good stretch at the end. Andrew Burnett in Nashville, I do think they move on, especially with Barry Trotz moving out. I do think the front office is going to look to make a new hire head coach, because 2 years ago we all thought they had more than enough talent to get to the postseason, and that hasn't been the case at all.
No.
I do think Andrew Burnett is probably done in Nashville.
Probably.
That's one guy that I wouldn't be surprised sticks around, but I do expect him to get fired.
His
but
streaks,
it would have blown my mind if they kept him.
His streaks have been very shaky. Like the one in the playoffs, it took a second half run like the Blues had in 2019 to make the playoffs. And they got nailed in the first round by Vancouver. I think we need to change the scenery there. Especially, I got a new guy coming in. Maybe they hire Bruce Cassidy to help with the veterans to stay competitive until Stamkos and Riley kind of leave, and then they rebuild fully.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. We talked about Berube.
He gone.
Done. Another guy that Aidan and I agree should absolutely be gone, Todd McClellan. You're fired.
He's been there for a year and a half, but guess what? You don't collapse like that and keep your job unless your name is Kevin Adams, and he gone. That's awful. What happened in Detroit? I feel somewhat sorry for Red Wings fans, but as a Sabres fan, I don't. 10 years. It sucks. The playoffs are better when Detroit's in them. It really is. But you were in first place in the Eastern Conference, or tied for first, at the Olympic break, and you missed the playoffs. How does that happen?
Yeah.
That's inexcusable. Eisman should be fired. The entire coaching staff should be fired. That is heinous, what happened. That should not happen. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. I don't disagree.
It's unbelievable. Fired.
I can't believe they stayed around for as long as they have been, if I'm being honest. I thought Yzerman probably should have been out a while ago.
Probably last year.
So the fact that he's been around for as long as he has been now is actually kind of surprising to me. But McClellan should be gone. This Detroit team's too talented, especially with the way they were playing in the first half of the season. They're just too talented to keep missing the postseason. So
the Red Sabres, and not in a good way.
Yeah, not in a good way. That team absolutely needs a change of scenery, change of culture. A couple guys that we don't know if they'll be back next year. We mentioned John Tortorella. I think if Vegas goes in a deep playoff run, they'll bring him back.
Maybe we'll see.
We mentioned,
depends on what Torts wants to do.
Yeah, Torts has got that team moving right now. We'll see. We'll talk about that as the postseason progresses more. I think we'll have a better idea. One other guy who absolutely went off on his team last night during his exit interview, Rick Bowness.
Should be back.
Oh my gosh. I would love to see him back. And I'd love to see what he does to that team because, oh my gosh, I think he's going to have that team competing in the postseason next year.
He wasn't wrong whatsoever what he said. Columbus has a loser mentality. They do right now. And I laughed and I was like, holy Lord, he's unloading. He should be back because that's the type of player they need is a guy like Rick Bowness.
I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed in Zach Werenski. He basically came out and said, I disagree with him.
Well,
buddy, you are not getting that C on your jersey anytime soon. Not the way to respond to that.
Then again,
because what Rick Bowness said was true.
I also think that Bowness should take some accountability. You had this team rolling, and then it got tough, and then they started to falter. You as a coach got to figure out how to get them back into these games as well. But I also agree, the players got to play too. You can only do so much. But
sure.
Bowness definitely should have took some accountability, and that's hey, it's also my fault, but
sure. And I understand.
We got to clean this stuff up.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I would love to see him back next year, though. I don't know if he is. It sure sounded like during his interview last night he wanted to come back.
Felt like he wanted to be back.
It felt like he got that itch again, like they said. But yeah, essentially during the interview, Rick Bowness went off. He said, "This team handles losing like it's a Tuesday, essentially.
Like it's normal.
They don't hate losing enough," is what he said. The culture needs to change. Yeah, he ripped them apart, as he should have. Because I want to see Columbus back in the postseason. I want to see them compete. I think they're talented. They're talented enough to do it. Yeah, I would love to see Rick Bowness turn that team around. So we talked about Bowness, we talked about Tortorella. Any other guys you want to talk about?
We're going to do it briefly because we're running out of time here. We're getting to player of the day as well. I could see Scott Arnell in Winnipeg getting a potential look. The President's Trophy, not a great year this year. Fell off a cliff. We'll see what they do. I think Arnell gets another year, personally. But I think if they fall through again next year, I think he's gone. And Jeff Blashill in Chicago should be fired. His track record with teams, with the Red Wings and now Chicago, is not very good. That Blitz Blackhawks team should have took a step this year. They did not. They looked good at the beginning of the year, but got hurt and they fell off a cliff.
Yep.
And so I think that Blashill should be gone. They should if they're smart, they should bring in, I know it's the buzzword, Bruce Cassidy. They should bring in Cassidy because he will whip this team into shape. And Bedard and Frank Nazar and all these other great kids they have are going to play some great hockey. This Blackhawks team should have not finished second last and the Central, even though I had in the West, even though I had them finishing last in the West, but they should have been better this year. They really should have been.
So that's an interesting point you bring up about Winnipeg because, like I said to you during break, this is almost like a New York Rangers situation. Yeah. President's Trophy to falling off a cliff. I do think Winnipeg should take a hard look at Scott Arnell and look at him as if, look, we were at the top of the NHL last year. How do we fall off this cliff? You got to look at coaching and say, maybe it's time for a change. So I would take a strong look at Scott and see, what can we do to improve next year? Maybe he's not the guy. One other guy I want to briefly talk about, DJ Smith. He's the interim there in LA. If the team decides to rebuild in the offseason, do they keep him? I think it's in their best interest to keep him if they don't plan to compete and they do decide to retool, which they absolutely should.
They made the playoffs with him, so I can't see any reason why they wouldn't bring him back.
Yeah, and it makes sense. If they're a first-round exit, you got to look and say, okay, what the heck are we going to do now? Because you should retool, and if your plan is to not compete, maybe just keep DJ Smith around. I just don't see the point in hiring a head coach if you're not going to compete. Do you see what I mean?
I agree.
If you're going to try to go and compete in the following season, maybe try to find someone else. But if your plan is just to retool, what's the point of trying to find a guy who, wouldn't want to compete? So those are our thoughts on the NHL hot seat. Now we will move to our player of the day. Aidan, do you have your player of the day?
I do. The last, thankfully I can say this, of the Sabre Drought legends is here as the drought officially ends tonight.
All right, I'm ready.
He was drafted in the first round, 25th overall in 2006 by the St. Louis Blues. In his NHL debut in 2008 with the Blues, where he played with the Blues until 2017-2018, he was traded to Buffalo, a part of a massive package for Ryan O'Reilly. And in 2018-19, he played 23 games with the Sabres and quit halfway through the year. Refused to report, got turned, and has not played in the NHL since, and never will. He NHL career played 717 games, scored 170 goals, and had 326 points. Who is he?
You said possibly rejected a trade to the Sabres?
No, he rejected playing for the Sabres. He got traded to the Sabres, played 23 games with them, and then quit halfway through the year.
Starts with Cole, ends with Tin.
No, you're not even close.
Wait, hang on. Are we talking about this season? I thought you meant this season.
No, his last year was in 2018-2019.
Oh, I thought you meant this past season.
Was a part of the Ryan O'Reilly trade.
Oh, I thought you meant as in...
No.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Colton Perry.
No, we're not talking about Perrico.
Okay.
Come on,
okay.
I wouldn't give you that kind of layup.
All right, well, this isn't a layup for me. Who is it?
Patrick Berglund.
Yeah, wouldn't have gotten that. Yeah, when you said rejected a trade to the Sabres, I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, he's talking about this past year. It's Colton Parayko, whatever.
No, he was a part of the Tage Thompson trade that sent Tage Thompson to Buffalo and Ryan O'Reilly to St. Louis, and he played 23 games and quit halfway through the year on that Sabres team.
Yeah, wouldn't have gotten that one. All right, good pull, Aidan.
Sabres lore legend.
All right, I've got one for you. Another former Washington Capital, since we love to talk about our former players that played for our favorite teams. This one's not a layup. This one I think is hard, but I do think he was relevant for a couple years. This guy was drafted in 2013. Okay. All right, he's a second-round pick by the Capitals. All right, so he made his debut in 2017. He's a defenseman. Okay. All right, he played 51 games. He didn't score a goal. He had 12 assists, so 12 points in his rookie season. All right, played with the Capitals for half a season after his rookie season. He got traded to the Red Wings. All right, defenseman. He had a goal and 3 assists with the Red Wings in 2018-19. He played for them in 2019-20. He played 53 games, had 3 goals, 14 assists. All right, and then after that, let me look at his transactions.
Is he in the AHL right now?
He doesn't play anymore. His last season was with Chicago. No, sorry. Last season was with Vancouver. He got a trade to Chicago from Detroit, and then traded from Chicago to Vancouver.
I was going to say Dylan McIlrath, but that's not right.
He still plays. He actually plays in Hershey.
He does. He was picked by the Rangers. So he went from Washington to
Detroit. Let me look at the transactions for you. Traded to Detroit for Nick Jensen. Are you using the Nick Jensen trade?
That trade.
After his time in Detroit, he was signed by Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was traded to Vancouver by Chicago with a 5th-round pick.
For who?
With a 5th-round pick for a 4th-round pick, so it's just a swap. They basically just traded 1 round up and had him in the deal. So this guy's completely irrelevant.
It's not Jared Tenori.
I don't know if you know this guy, but this guy, I actually had some. I thought he was promising
It's a good poll.
for a season.
Who is it?
This is Madison Bowie.
Oh my God!
I can't believe you actually know who that is.
No!
You remember him?
Oh my God, NHL 17 franchise legend. Oh no!
I can't believe you actually remembered him.
Oh.
When I said the name, I didn't think you were going to know who he was. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
No, Madison Bowie, yeah.
Yes, we got him, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
I got a
Yes.
couple minutes, so I'll keep my spiel short. Yeah, he was supposed to be this great defensive prospect that came up. He was always rated medium elite, high elite in all the NHL games in his early years. Thought he was gonna be great. Never panned out. Never panned out.
I really thought he was promising for the season there in Washington. Thank you.
Freaking
Thank
poll.
you. Thank you.
Good
Aiden gave me a
poll.
fist bump. I'm really honored.
Good poll.
Anyways, that'll do it for us, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you next week. Thank you for listening to the Snipe and Score show on WSBU 88.3 FM, The Buzz. I'm Sean Wallace alongside my host, Aidan Calkins. We'll catch you later.
Sabres on the warpath.